On the local scene, the criminal charges against the colored man who resisted an arresting officer have been upgraded to fifth-degree assault. We have Kim Burrows live from the county jail with the details. Kim?
Thank you, Dan. This new charge stems from the fact that his blood splattered onto the officer. During the arrest, the police officer had to subdue the assailant with numerous blows to the head. One resulted in a deep cut that gushed out. The policeman was rushed to the emergency room and given an AIDS test, which proved negative. By Georgia state law, any colored man, woman, or child which bleeds on a white person is subject to criminal charges of assault, since it is a well-established fact that almost all colored people carry the AIDS virus. Since this happened during his arrest, the charges will be admitted.
Loitering is defined as lingering or hanging out in a public place. The key to loitering is lingering with no purpose for being there. A common example is when these people hang out in front of the local liquor store. Many states have local ordinances against loitering. As a result, the police have the power to arrest those people for loitering. Any police officer that observes any person engaged in loitering in any public place designated for the enforcement of the Anti-Loitering Act shall, subject to all applicable procedures promulgated by the Commissioner of the DeKalb Estates Police Department, 1. Inform them that they are engaged in loitering within an area in which loitering is prohibited. 2. Order all such people to disperse and remove themselves from within sight and hearing of the place at which the order is issued. 3. Inform those engaged in gang loitering that they will be subject to arrest if they fail to properly obey the order or if they engage in further loitering within sight or hearing of the place at which the order is issued during the next 3 hours. Any person who fails to promptly obey the act or who engages in further loitering within sight or hearing of the place at which such order was issued during the 3-hour period following the time an order to disperse was issued shall be punished by a fine of not less than $100 and not more than $500, or imprisonment in a house of correction and road improvement for not more than 6 months, or by both. Assault is often defined to include not only violence, but any physical contact with another person without their consent. Assault is a crime of violence against another person. In some jurisdictions, assault is used to refer to the actual violence, while in other jurisdictions, assault refers only to the threat of violence, while the actual violence is battery. Assault is typically treated as a misdemeanor and not as a felony. The more serious crime of aggravated assault is treated as a felony. First-degree criminal assault is charged when great bodily harm is inflicted or if the assault with deadly force is committed against a peace officer. The sentence for a first-degree offense is imprisonment for not more than 20 years and payment of a fine of not more than $30,000. A fifth-degree assault is a misdemeanor if it is a first offense punishable by up to 90 days in jail and or a $1,000 fine. A fifth-degree assault may be charged if a person, 1. commits an act with intent to cause fear in another or of immediate bodily harm or death, or 2. intentionally inflict or attempts to inflict bodily harm upon another, or 3. to knowingly transmit a communicable disease. A communicable disease means a disease or condition that causes serious illness, serious disability, or death. The infectious agent of which may pass or be carried from the body of one person to the body of another through direct transmission. It is a well-known fact that these people carry the AIDS virus.
From the county jail, this is Kim Burrows for Channel 4 News at 7.
Thank you, Kim Burrows, for that live report. And our top story tonight, the DeKalb Estates Wine Festival kicks off with a parade tomorrow morning, celebrating 100 years of refined living in DeKalb Estates. On the local scene, soft anti-loitering laws have some DeKalb Estates citizens voicing their concerns inside the courthouse today. The worries stem from the upcoming assault charges against Dany Nieves, a colored man arrested 2 weeks ago. Channel 4's Kim Burrows broadcast from the courthouse with this story.
Thank you, Dan. During the trial, Police Chief Melton Hubbard described in his own words the reasons why we keep these people under such scrutiny. His testimony has ensured that the offender will not become more of a menace to society than he has already proven himself capable of. We first hear the testimony of the arresting officer, Pat Ridley. He gave the courtroom a graphic account of the methods he used to subdue this violent man.
I said, get back from the building, get your hands where I could see them, get yourself on the ground. When he moved away from the building, he dropped both of his arms to his sides and turned his body in a north direction away to where his left side was now facing me and where I could not see his hand. At that time I withdrew my nightstick, pointed it at the suspect, told him to get his hands away from his butt. He stood there motionless, taunting me. I have a power swing, and I struck the suspect across the top of the cheekbone, splitting his face from the top of his ear to his chin. I said to him, "We played a little ball tonight too, didn't we?" And the suspect replied, "I don't know," or "I don't know what you mean." And then I said, "We played a little hardball tonight. Do you remember who was playing?" And he said something to the effect of, "I guess so." And I said, "We won and you lost."
After hearing the testimony of the arresting officer, Judge Leroy Davis called the police chief up to the witness stand so he could clarify the reasoning behind such bold police measures.
Every one of those people should be educated in terms of their own needs and capacities to not only fit our society, but to be of benefit to us. Their children not only need a different approach to the educational process, but a different type of education from that provided to our children. We should not expect them to have the same values because they come from homes that do not stress a moral set of judgments that society at large can accept. They bring into our community certain psychological problems that are peculiar to their low social economic status. There's no point in having high academic aspirations since they only become frustrated. They should be happy to have the menial jobs we allow them. The humanitarian thing for us to do is just to watch over them, keep them out of trouble and from harming each other, and to protect the greater good of our society.
From the DeKalb State Courthouse, this is Kim Burrows for Channel 4 News at 7.